don't even
Fontaine.
need.
I think I work in a place that's very noisy. That's why I
I
speak
look
so
like
loud.
Karen.
And I always get charged.
Yeah, yeah, that you have to shout when you're working on cars, bro.
Yeah,
you
we
have
want. Go. Mazizi! Pass me the hammer.
Tenille, you're on the
I
podcast.
won't spill it, I promise. I also don't
You
have
have to
hands.
spill the tea. We want some
How are we gonna
gossip
block
over here.
this? No booty.
How am I gonna
We
drink
don't-
this now?
We don't promote booty on the podcast.
We want some gossip over here now.
About what?
Spill the
The
tea.
tea.
That's why you're here.
Got
Spill
the tea. Got
bro.
the tea.
It was already spilled there.
And the ends came. They gathered.
Grace, welcome to the Funnyness podcast. This is your first one.
Welcome to you too.
And another one fast. Another one.
It's so strange.
It's been so, I don't know why I never got an invite. I still
Yeah.
didn't get an invite today.
Yeah.
I just happened to be here.
We just kidnapped you into
She ended up in a podcast.
A whole ambush, bruh.
That's it. Like, at least you'll have a dope story to tell people.
Which is what exactly?
I went there and ended up in a
In a
podcast.
I should have been in this
It's not
podcast.
a everyday
Episode
episode.
1. Episode 1.
You will be. You'll
Or
be
you're
on
gonna
the
mix
special
it.
ones.
Are you gonna mix the numbers up?
You'll be
Is
on
this a
like
special
the
one?
50th.
Is this what you tell all the
Yeah.
people you ambush?
The 50th one or whatever.
Superstar
Yes, sir.
guest.
What number we
Yeah.
on now?
Grace Storm.
This is probably 30.
Ah, I must wait for 50, bruh.
No.
Probably 33 now.
We must just make it a special one.
So I'm gonna be on next
When is
year.
your birthday?
Next year.
Next
How's it
year.
next year?
Yo, when is your birthday?
Next year in April.
year. Like, bro.
It's coming this year.
Not even Christmas.
It's coming
Nah.
this year.
You don't look like you dressed for Christmas.
Why are you wearing a wig?
This is my. What do you mean?
Oh.
I got
That's right.
advice from Keith, so I'm trying out this new look.
Keith, I heard about that, but
Yeah.
that's music.
OG looks. Yeah.
Grace, if for people who don't know, is a really good friend of ours. From a long time ago. That's why I guess
For a long time.
we're not really trying
Friend of
to
funniness.
interrogate her and like ask her deep questions because we know about
But
Grace.
they don't know.
I will ask, yes. I will ask for the people.
Okay, also
And
people.
obviously, also, I heard I have a big mouth, so since people already say so, why wouldn't I
Might as
ask?
well use it,
Mm.
bro.
Why wouldn't I ask? So
Can just go with it.
now I want to surprise you because now you're ready and waiting.
Do you even know what you're gonna ask me?
We can be talking.
How are you doing though?
You see, here's the first one.
I'm fine. I'm great. I'm good.
Mm.
Yeah.
Grace Storm.
Yeah, but Grace Storm does poetry. She does.
Never
She's
seen
actually
her
a
live. I want to.
multi-talented individual. She can do anything: acting, poetry, singing, drugs, anything.
Wig wearer.
So
At any time. Triple
poet,
threat.
poetry, Grace.
Mm.
What's the state of poetry in our country right now? Where are we?
Yo. When did we get this political?
It's a
In the
question.
country.
In
I
the
don't know.
country,
Yeah.
The
particularly
scene.
this country.
What's the scene? Yeah, how's it looking?
There's actually a lot going on, eh? But only if you're in that community, you'll know. Like I know this coming week, there's like a big poetry conference being held to talk about poets in the industry in terms of rates, what it should like
Poetry
cost to.
conference just sounds
Yeah,
funny.
it's legit. It's legit. It's an actual thing.
Poet card.
So I hope they don't speak poetically there.
yeah,
I'm
yeah. There
trying
must
to
be
They
Yeah.
have
yeah.
to.
Properly.
They have to.
Ah,
That's how they
How
understand
do
each
they run
other.
the event?
No, but why is it a community?
Poetically.
Like, why is it not for everyone? I feel like poetry doesn't. It's not for everyone.
It's not for everyone.
Yeah, and like also they don't invite us because you're saying
What do you mean
you
is
have
it-
to be in that community.
Yeah, but you must find
almost
yourself
like a
in it.
secret
No, it's
society.
not secret. It's just you. If you are a poet, you
Yeah.
will.
Know it.
Lord, what did I get myself into today?
That was a fire one.
That was fire. Did it?
You look. I think the poetry. Do you mind us talking about that?
No, go ahead.
The poetry industry is quite it's cool in the sense that I think poets have the ability to speak for everyone.
Mm.
You know, they speak for the depressed guy, they speak for the sick guy, they speak for the happy guy, they speak for the in love guy, all of that. But coming from, let's say, a place of ignorance, like a person who's not exposed to the poetry scene, it's quite difficult to get involved, not necessarily involved, but invested in it. Much like singing, music is easy. You hear a song, you like the artist, that's it, you gone. You know, even with jokes, you hear the comic, you hear the jokes, the punchlines, you like them, you follow, you gone. Whereas with poetry, you could give a poet a chance, listen to his whole catalog and not understand a thing and not relate. Then you don't follow. Then it doesn't grow from there. How do we fix that?
That's actually an interesting one. I think it's also because there is actually people who have like a favorite poet. You'll find like a favorite poet who speaks to you in a specific way because they don't write the same as this one. It's better to understand their work. But again, a lot of people don't go to events to support poetry who are not poets most of the time. Like an everyday person won't just be like, oh, there's an open mic poetry thing, let's go to that, as opposed to, like you're saying, music. So I think it's more people think or have a perception that people are going to be speaking poetically and they're not going to understand.
But here's a follow-up question.
Okay.
Because I see you saying the issue is that in the first place they're not exposing themselves to the poetry. They're not going to these open mics or whatever. But here's the thing. Like I said, like we use music, a singer drops a song online, wherever you can access it. From listening to that is when you go to his show, not just willy-nilly.
So you, how do we find out about them?
How do you? What's the bait? What's
poetry?
How does poetry bait people who are not into poetry?
Yeah, because I've never been attracted by anything poetry.
It's a very different. You see, now back to the
so
community.
That's why, is it for y'all only?
It's not for us only.
Okay? Are you like?
But
we
the
do
thing
poetry,
is,
leave us.
I think that community is still fighting for platforms to put our stuff out there. They are on social media. We do put our work on there. We put our stuff on YouTube. All these other things. Yeah. But I mean, and I guess I don't want to use the idea of like blaming it on the algorithms, right, or whatever. But because it's such a small community globally, like compared to music, it's something that's like people still don't catch on to. But we're doing the work. We're writing books. We're putting our stuff out there. But it's like people still feel like it's not for us. They have the perception that it is that community. So unless you are interested in literature or you just happen to like arts, then you'll go. But to have an average person, the way that they come to a music concert, come to a poetry thing, it's like very rare. I don't know why. Exactly. I can speculate.
Grace, people like convenience. And
do you think poetry is inconvenient?
I don't think it's inconvenient per se, but I'm saying like things like music, it's very convenient. There's no way you can go without music. You can't escape it. It's there. It's everywhere. So the love of it becomes, we're born around music, man. Music is just playing all the time. Whereas things like poetry, things even like comedy, if you're being honest, you have to scratch and find and look and whatever. A lot of people don't know that there's comedy shows happening literally every day.
Yes.
They don't understand that. But it takes people to have less, not that convenient, to people who actually are active and go out and but because people are so used to being spoon fed
because music is so
by the other entertainment, you get this Netflix, you watch your favorite series the whole day. No, everything's here. They give it to you. It's accessible or whatever. Whereas things like comedy, things like
you have to
poetry,
actually make an effort.
It needs people who think and are active, which is tough.
And I think also like now post-COVID, or I say post-COVID because now we don't wear masks anymore.
The pandemic is over.
It's probably gotten worse because I think during COVID it's made the convenience factor even easier. Like now getting people to events, people want to go out, yes. But do they want to go and sit to think about what this one is?
My thing is this. I heard this a lot about poetry. I always say I want to go and then people tell me, hey, some poets can depress you.
Like, they can.
It's possible. And that's why I'm saying you find poets that you resonate with. Their work will cover a range of things. There's poets who write about many different things. Many like this, the depressing poem, the love poem, the positive, the poets who like actually want to motivate and like, give positive words. It just depends on what you relate to at that specific time, because maybe, and that's the difficulty or the difference about poetry is you can walk into a poetry show on a particular day, you are in a particular mood, right? And there's maybe one piece that speaks to you because you feeling depressed, and what they shared resonates with you, so you connect with that. Okay. And for you needed that in that moment. But tomorrow, when you're not in that mood, you might not relate to that poem. So like something like poetry or listening, it's momentary. Like you'll find sometimes you can relate to the work, sometimes you can't.
Okay. So the one time, just to tell you a story
about a poetry show.
Her show. She had a poetry show in the South. And Keith was meant to perform or close the show, Rab. Yeah. Just before Keith comes on, there's a poet who's on the stage. And you know Keith's work. It brings joy. Yeah. This poet hits a hectic one about heavy. Suicide, bruh. It's a suicide poem, bruh. A hectic one. Rough. And then Keith must come out after that.
So did you go on? Did Keith go on?
Keith killed it though.
Yeah,
Keith killed it after the suicide. Yeah. Sorry, that's a bad joke.
No
sorry.
choice. Suicide. But yeah, that I found
I'm
interesting.
trying to think who are people who generally consume like poetry as an art form.
I think it's mostly people who just mostly appreciate art as a whole. Because I find people who come to shows like that aren't actually like big literature people, but they like the expression of art in different ways. Yeah. They go to paint, they go to galleries, they, dabble in painting and all of that stuff, where they just appreciate that the form of art as an expression. Then you have people who appreciate the actual way that poets can talk about stuff, like the way that they color the words and it's, just to make it sound so real. Then you have the people who are literature based, where they go to like listen to how well you've written a piece. So it's like it depends on who or what type of person you are and why you go there. What's your reason to? I don't know what would yours be. Why would you go to a poetry show?
No, I'm thinking who goes to a poetry show. Like,
why you never been to my shows, Dex?
I've heard about them and always, I don't know. Let me use it.
Because even
there's one now,
Thursday.
That
we were talking about.
There's one coming now this week.
That's Thursday. We have a show.
I tried to book you for that one. Because Keith was performing.
Yes,
but I think you went somewhere.
Yeah. I don't know. Was I supposed to perform or just attend?
No, perform. But you went around.
I heard doing stand-up comedy as about stuff at a poetry show. But I would like to.
But it was like an open. It wasn't just a poetry thing.
Yeah,
it was an
like
open mic. So there were musicians. It was like a.
It's also, but it's still comedy. Also, is something of itself.
Yeah, to have like a separate its own thing.
Even a lot of I've seen also people share poetry pieces at other shows. Like as a guest act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's not dark. Sometimes it's really beautiful also.
Yeah.
And everyone enjoys it.
We had a show in 2016 at the Joburg Theatre.
Yeah.
I think it was the Space. It was called the Music and Comedy Experience. It was one of our biggest shows actually. And the first act was poetry.
Yeah.
To open that show. Then
it must be a very specific piece. Like for example, you wouldn't ask to open up with a suicide.
yeah.
So like understanding the poet's work, or what do you like tell them also like what this is the energy you want to set and all of that. So
she came through talking about music, poetry nice. And all of that stuff, and set the mood right, and then we kicked off.
Okay, I'll go to a poetry show. Yeah. Like always you hear bad things and then you're like, hey.
What bad things are you hearing?
People say like most people are like, yeah, sometimes it can depress you,
But it's ignorance. But I think
because that's not all. Like that's not all. All poets don't write just depressing work. Yeah. Like.
Do you also want sometimes different reactions? Like, do you sometimes write something for laughter?
I've got a good mix of but I also depends on what type of writer. Like I write from my own experience or things that I feel, but I write it in a way where people can relate to it. Right. So I try to describe it, like in literal form, so people can relate. Yeah. And sometimes it's like sarcastic, funny. I've got a funny piece. I've got like more deeper piece. I've got pieces about love, heartbreak. So then it also depends on the crowd. Sometimes I'll get there and I see it's an older crowd or a younger crowd.
Yeah.
Then I'll switch my like list of like, okay, I can't do this piece because the crowd's too young. They're not gonna get it, or it's
Then
too,
rap
you
for
know.
them.
You know,
Then rap for
you
them.
know,
Do it with
the reason
rhythm.
I know anything about poetry
Yeah.
is because of my friendship with Grace and
Yes.
like being exposed to the world of poetry, meeting poets and different kinds of poets, and
Yeah.
but you know, which is also I think an avenue when you know someone to getting into it
Okay.
is when you know someone person and you personally invested and interested in that person's life, and then you follow and then you start to see things that you like, because there's lots of things that I like, especially about her stuff,
Yeah.
because we've done a lot of work like shooting and whatever,
Yes.
and I've gone to know like a poetry and stuff I like. But you know, and this brings me to my question, Grace. Is because I'm such a fan. By the way, she's a published author. She's got two
She
books.
writes, yeah.
Nice.
Nice, man. I need a ghostwriter.
2.5 technically, no?
I need a ghostwriter.
Okay.
Is it two
It's
and a
3
half?
books.
Or you count as
It's
three?
three.
Yeah.
3-4 books.
For poetry books. Anyway,
Yeah.
brings
So
me to
a
my
book of poems. Like,
brings me to my question,
can I
Grace.
have a copy?
Is that what you asking the whole time? Did you say can you have a copy the whole time? Oh, okay. Buy it, takes. God damn it.
Support local.
So
Money.
my question is now in this case of mine, where I'm a big fan of yours, I'm in love with your poetry and all of that. How do I go from that? Because I'm clearly like, if it's not Grace, it's not the one. You know?
So what's the what's your actual
How do
question?
I break away from that and now
to
like,
have
start
interest
to like,
in other?
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't just come to my shows. Then.
Go to other poetry.
No, but I hear other poets there,
Yeah.
but I'm like, it's cool, but yeah.
Okay, but you
but
wait
you
for
see-
Grace.
Yeah, then when Grace comes on,
You're like,
oh,
yeah.
yeah, this one's a hit.
So
Yeah.
I don't think there's a problem with that.
Fanboy.
It's the same as like musicians, right? If there's a lineup of musicians, but you go for one musician because you like,
Yeah,
I like
but
their
everyone
music.
goes to a festival and then you sit through some acts.
Yeah.
To see your favorite.
To see your
Yeah,
guy.
so I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I also have my personal favorites. If I see them go like on a lineup, I'm going for them specifically.
Yeah.
But I'm also open to the fact that there might be other poets who are also like really great, and then I will then pick up on that. But I also make sure that I go to ones where there are like at least 5 to 10 others that is outside of what I know. That's what I'm saying. I don't just come to my show. You might find
So
someone
there are
else
a lot
that
of
you
shows.
like.
Hey, we must start going to poetry
Let's go
to
to
learn
poetry, bro.
little bit. Would you try poetry? Would you try?
To do it.
Yeah.
I
Write
don't,
and then recite.
Well, let's freestyle some. I want to hear your
Yo.
freestyle poetry. Let's do
No,
that.
Poetry, me.
I'm always the one freestyling.
in the sun, I'm someone's son. On a Sunday.
Let me say-
That's my it's balcony alchemy. Go with her, stay with me. I, you, him, we. Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, Wii. It's poetry.
Bars, ladies and gentlemen. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Off
Dex,
the
your
top of
turn.
the dome.
Nah,
You need to top that.
I will pass on this challenge.
need it.
I can't do poetry. The only poem I remember is from high school. It's called Sproeirien in Afrikaans class.
What's that in English?
Sproeirien. It's like it's it's like yeah. The poem is about an orange peel, man. Like a
An orange peel.
yeah. A Nazi peel. And
So
that's
Sproeiri.
Sproeirien, yeah.
So that's what did you say?
That
Say the poem, bro. Waiting.
No,
Do you remember
I'm
it?
not gonna say. I
Come,
remember.
One
Afrikaans.
stanza.
Please say it.
My nooie is in 'n narkie.
Mm.
My ouma in kaneel. Daar is iemand in 'n nuis. Daar is 'n vrou in elke geur.
Mm.
Yeah, and that's That's all I
That
remember.
made
Fire.
no sense. I don't know. I
Fire.
don't understand the word.
What are you saying, Tini?
Don't you speak Afrikaans?
What does it mean in English?
It's like my girlfriend in the smell of nachos. My oma in the smell of cinnamon.
Why
like-
does your girlfriend smell like a nachos?
No, it's about smells.
I know.
So the person is saying that.
Nachos remind
Yeah,
me.
his girlfriend.
That's
It's
why.
actually weird. Now that I
That's
think
why
of it.
I'm like, what do you mean?
I've never thought of it. I know the poem from school because we were more to remember this thing, you know. Yeah,
And
this is good
the
question.
Oma in the cinnamon, and then
There's someone in what is that? A nice. What is a nice? I don't know. We're gonna have to Google. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
you just kept that in your brain for all these years, and you didn't
Yeah,
know.
no,
what
he's
it
using
meant.
it now. The teachers knew.
Yeah.
One day you'd be on a podcast and
No,
you'd need to recite a poem.
but this thing was hit into me. I can tell you that.
Okay, I'm gonna transform now.
Taking the hair off.
Are you? Is it hot?
Oh.
It's a boy.
Thanks, Dex.
Who are you now?
Yo.
Are you? Do you have a different name
I'm
now?
Storm now.
Are you Storm?
Yeah.
Only Storm.
Smirnoff.
No more questions.
Storm.
I'm so stressed that I'm here with you too and was ambushed into this.
But thank you for your time. I think we're good.
Yeah.
We just wanted to have a quick chat.
Maybe we give her like, you know, that 1 minute to change the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we create the moment.
Yeah.
And maybe we leave on that note. We see if she can, like, you know, when you put down a banger, like, boom.
Yeah. You
No
get
one
you
ever
hear what
minds.
he's saying?
I have no idea what just happened.
Like you're gonna leave us with the hectic one.
Yeah.
Like a phrase,
Well, like
something.
Like if ever anyone says you said something, it will be this
They'll be
thing.
like, yo,
You
yo,
know, like if I post it or someone posts it in
Caption.
80 years' time.
yeah,
You know?
great storm.
If her name is Nicole,
Yeah,
Dala,
yeah,
thanks, you see?
yeah.
I can never top that one, Dex.
No, like,
So you gotta
You know-
drop something
Yeah.
hectic now.
like
I'm
this is
wearing-
your one. You're not trying to top
I'm wearing Grace's top, by the way. If
Yeah.
you guys wanted to
I
know
heard she's giving
who's
out
my
clothes.
who's my
She's
who's my
actually a good person.
who's my designer.
I heard she's
Grace.
giving out clothes. She's a good person.
Yeah, she gives
Why,
out
you
clothes.
why were you giving your clothes away?
Some people need them more than I do.
Yeah. So you buy.
She gives us her clothes. We are the people who need more
Yeah.
than she does.
Now I'm waiting for mine. That's all I'm saying. I'm waiting for mine.
We all get clothes from
Yeah.
Grace. She's like our aunt.
She's a thrift auntie.
Yeah, who just gives us clothes.
So, but then does she mind what happens to the clothes?
I don't think
What
so.
are you trying to do with it?
No.
I still wear my Grace couture.
Now she
Great.
now imagine she comes out to visit you and then she's finding me in the top that she gave you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you still care about the clothes after
I
you've
didn't
given
give
it to
it to
someone?
you.
Hey?
I gave it to him. Why
Yeah.
are you wearing it?
Yeah, but you don't ever say anymore. Even though
But
you
it
gave
was.
it, he's borrowing it or he gave it to me. But you don't ever say anymore. It shouldn't offend you.
Dennis was not a sentiment
Yeah.
anymore. I must stop giving my clothes away.
So you must keep it forever.
Yeah.
Yo.
I'm finished growing now, so I'm fine.
Grace, where can people find you online?
And some poetry.
Online.
Yeah.
Making find
Online.
information for poetry.
Okay, online. that's
You
where.
can find me on Instagram. Apparently, I'm on Twitter now.
Yeah.
After like 7 years of not being on there.
Okay.
So that's where I'm at.
And TikTok.
Well done.
Instagram. See what? That's all I know. Instagram, Twitter. I am Grey Storm because I am Grey Storm.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
TikTok.
Facts.
I'm White Rainbow because that's also what I am. I'm also a
You
White
can
Rainbow.
find her at the Pakistani shop, yo.
You literally can. Giving out clothes. And yeah, that's where I'm
I
at.
was gonna say
YouTube.
buying gums, but yeah.
YouTube, Grey Storm. I don't know what these are, but that's me now.
And then you're gonna leave us with the wise
That one.
words, ne?
Yeah. Pew,
So-
pew, pew, ladies and gentlemen. Pew, 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 pew.
Don't-
Wow, wow, wow. For the first time in time ever.
Are you just throwing sweets around?
Yes.
You want a sweet?
Yes, great storm, ladies and gentlemen.
Never been seen before. Out here on the balcony on the Funnyness podcast, the one and only. Great storm.
Don't go to Regenpark. It's been real. Thank you guys. That's all I have to say.